that shit.
Welcome to Trash Talk MMA.
Smile on my face, behind my back, and talk trash.
The #1 podcast for news and insight that matters in the world of mixed martial arts.
I don't want to hear it.
Brought to you live and unfiltered from all four corners of the globe
That's what you said.
by MMA aficionado Antoine Pelche.
Yo, and welcome to the Trash Talk MMA podcast. I'm your host, Antoine Pelche, and today I have two special guests fighting out of the Tiger Muay Thai camp, Mr. Joe Ray and Mr. Emalo Urrutia. How's it going, guys?
Good.
Everything great, man.
Excellent. We just watched, ONE FC24 last night?
Yes, we did.
One championship.
Yeah.
They took out
one
the C now,
championship.
right?
Did they?
Or,
I don't know.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
not
they took out
FC,
the F.
right? The fighting.
There's no more F.
Did they?
Oh,
There's no more fighting.
That's big news. I don't know.
Yeah, you didn't hear that? Yeah, they changed the name. That's funny. I've never really heard of a fight promotion changing the name, especially a big brand one like that.
Yeah.
Now, what's interesting with both of you guys is you're both American.
Yep.
You're from, Joe,
I'm from Sarasota, Florida originally, but
Okay.
I've been in Miami area for like the past, I don't know, probably I'd say about 10 years now.
Okay, and you also represent American top team, Miramar.
Yeah.
Okay, and so that's Govea's camp.
Well, it's Govea's camp, and then I train at the headquarters a lot more. You know, I teach at Miramar when I'm there, and then I train at the headquarters.
Okay. All right, we'll have lots to talk about because they're certainly in the news these days with the Ultimate Fighter, with the ATT facing the Black Zillions. So we'll talk a bit about that. I'm sure you have lots to say. And Emalo,
touchy subject.
Yeah. Oh, good. That's good. It's Trash Talk MMA, dude. we like to
Trash Talk. There you go.
So, and Emalo, you also represent Juggernaut Fight Club down in Singapore.
Yeah. So I'll trade my time between here in Tiger Muay Thai when I'm in Thailand. I usually do all my fight camps here.
Okay.
And I also teach and help run a little bit of no-gi classes and wrestling and MMA in Singapore at Juggernaut Fight Club as well.
Okay. Excellent. All right, so Joe, I went through your fight history. You seem really on the cusp of having a huge year here.
Yeah.
You've fought, you're a 3-time Strikeforce veteran. You've trained with monsters in Tiger Muay Thai, an American top team. You seem like you've got an incredibly versatile game. You've got some stunning knockouts, some great slams, some great takedowns. You're great off your back, submissions, the whole bang. What are your plans for the year? What are you going to do to take it to the next level here?
Well, my plan for the year so far is I have one fight booked, and that's in June. That's June 27th for Rebel FC, and I'm fighting Paulo Thiago.
Okay.
So he just got cut from UFC. So
where does that take place?
That's in China. I'm not sure the exact area of China.
Okay.
But
well, that's a big name for you, and you've got some other former UFC fighters, Luigi Fioravanti, Chad Reiner, Brock Larson.
Yeah.
So it just sounds
the
like
runner.
The runner.
Yeah.
Did he run in that fight?
Yeah, he did a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to talk about that
won,
too.
No, it's good on his part, but it just wasn't.
Wasn't your style of fight?
No, not really. Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like you like to really push the pace, get up in people's faces. I really like your style of fighting, actually, personally, and it just seems like you just need that one opportunity. I think a fight against Paulo Thiago, even though he's unfortunately 2-7 right now, but he still has some great wins over somebody over Koscheck, over Swick. He's a name. I actually like Paulo Thiago too. I'm a fan of his, and he's kind of like the Wu-Tang Clan for me. I just keep checking him out to see if he's going to come back to form, and unfortunately the Wu-Tang never really has, and it doesn't seem like Paulo Thiago is going to do that anytime soon. But the guy's an incredible competitor, and how do you think this fight's going to play out?
I'm going to look to knock him out, or, I don't know that I'll be submitting him, but you never know. Sure, crazy things have happened, but I'd say knock him out.
Yeah. Yeah, he got submitted by, who did he get submitted by recently? Brandon Thatch.
Okay.
Yeah, he got subbed by Brandon Thatch, and he got knocked out by CR.
Yeah.
And then otherwise, he's kind of a decision fighter.
Yeah.
A lot. He either wins by decision, loses by decision. But he's a cool dude, and he's got an interesting, an interesting past. I think that makes for an interesting matchup for you.
Yeah. So I don't really know. I haven't really studied him much. What I do when somebody presents an opponent, I just pass it on to my coach, my main coach back home.
Yep.
His name is Rob Jota, and I've been with him for the last probably 8 fights, and we just work real well together. He's got a real good eye for detail, and stuff like that, and he just gets, he has a way of getting the best out of me, and he's like really good at spotting people's weaknesses and how to exploit those weaknesses and what to work on and stuff like that. So I just pass it to him, and it's either yes or no, and I just go from there. And I don't really like to watch too much film. I mean, I'll watch a little bit just to kind of familiarize myself, but mainly I'll just pass it to him, and he tells me this is what you do, this is what you look out for.
Yeah, even just judging by your fighting style, it looks like you just go in there to do what you got to do, and you're pretty comfortable everywhere, on the feet, on the ground. I mean,
yeah, I mean, I like to stand, but I'm pretty comfortable. Like a lot of people underestimate my ground game, but I have some little tricky submissions and stuff like that, and I'm pretty crafty down there. I don't
And all your wins have been by stoppage, right?
Yeah.
So
like I don't do too
you're
well
not
with decisions. I haven't been on the winning side of many decisions. Yeah, so
or any actually.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Now, Emilio, so that's coming up June 20th in Rebel.
27th. Yeah.
June 27th, Rebel FC is that called? Okay. Yeah. Now, Emilio, you have a fight coming up real soon, a couple weeks, May 9th.
Yes, sir. I'm fighting in Taiwan, May 9th for Pro FC.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm really looking forward to it. I've been trying to get on this card for a while now, actually. So last year, I tried to get on it also.
Yep.
And then the year before. So I'm really excited to go to Taiwan, My opponent just changed a few days ago, so I haven't got a name yet, but...
so you don't know who you're fighting right now?
It's a Korean guy. I think he's a teammate of Kai Kara's opponent.
Okay.
So it should be pretty cool, Tiger Muay Thai versus Team Korea right now. I'm not sure what the gym is yet, but I'll get some more details pretty soon, but, I'm
Now, you're not as deep in your career as Joe is. What are you, 4-1?
Yeah, right now I'm 4-1.
We like to say 4-0 because that one doesn't really count because it wasn't.
I noticed.
Not technically recorded, I guess.
Yeah, I noticed a couple of different records for you online that there is a 4-0 and 4-1. What's your side of the story?
We'll just forget about that.
That's what was funny. I was thinking about what I was saying on the way here. Nobody's asked me about that yet. Well, I did lose my last fight. It's a pro fight, so. I did lose in January just recently. Okay. And this is going to be like, so...
So why do we not want to count that?
I'm 4-1. Sherdog hasn't picked it up. And
that's why.
A lot of the databases, for some reason, haven't seen the show or whatnot. I don't know why, but I have no problem with it. I'm tough. This is my 5th fight, so I'll be working on my 6th fight now. Pretty early in my career. So
how would you define your fighting style?
Definitely a grappler base first, but, I'm not afraid to fight, and everything anybody who sparred with me or fought me would pretty much know that, I like to mix it in. I like to close the distance and just, kind of make it ugly. It's been kind of my style lately. And I think, as I get more fights, I want to get a little bit cleaner, a little bit more polished, especially when striking and stand up.
Yeah.
But, right now there's no I got strong grappling, I know I got a good motor. So, there's no doubt, there's no question pretty much what I'm going to do. If if I can get you down on the mat and work my game, that's what I'm going to do. I'm always going to take the fight to where I'm going to be able to win it. But like I said, I feel like I can attack somebody where they're not so good, and maybe that's where I can win sometimes,
Now you're based entirely in Southeast Asia. I mean, you're living and training in Singapore, and then how do you divide your time between Juggernaut and Tiger Muay Thai?
Yeah, that's pretty tough, man, because I came here, I was also born in Miami, Florida. And then,
did you guys know each other back then?
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys been buddies for a while? Training buddies?
Yeah, since we first started training at our first gym, I think. Right?
Yeah,
years ago.
Yeah, funny story, actually. It's kind of crazy how I even ended up here, because I think Joe's probably one of the main reasons why I ended up in Thailand to begin with.
Okay.
So he was already here for about 6 months when I first signed up to train, So I'm a little bit later in the game than him, And when I was training at the gym, he was already here doing Muay Thai fights, and I was kind of like following his game over here, because he was representing the gym that I was training at over there, So then that was kind of like one of my big goals. Like within my first month of training, I used to see all these videos and blogs of all these guys out here in Thailand training, hitting pads and taking these Thai fights. And it's kind of like the first time you see like, foreigners out here doing things, especially for Americans at least. First time I've seen it,
Yeah, I think a few years ago it seemed so exotic to do that, and now it's and I'm seeing it because I've been out here just interviewing a bunch of guys like you for 3 months, and it's just a deluge of people, And I want to talk about that because you guys have both had experience. Have you had all your fights in Southeast Asia?
All my fights, I made my pro debut in Asia. Yeah, okay. So all my fights have been abroad. I have 5 amateur fights. I have 5 amateur fights in the States, and then I came to Thailand to prepare for my pro debut in Miami.
Yeah.
And then one thing led to another, and I ended up living. I haven't gone back,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I left for 5 weeks.
That's typical though.
I left for a 4-week camp to learn Muay Thai, and one thing led to another, and it's been 20 months later since I got back home. So
Nice
and five pro fights in 20 months, so it's all right.
I did the same thing.
It's
I left
good.
LA back in October of 2013, and I kind of told people I'd never go back, and I haven't gone back. It's been over a year and a half. You know, I mean, I've been traveling all over the place, but it's good to get out and just immerse yourself into something different. Now, what I thought was interesting is while we were watching the ONE FC, and that's kind of why I started by this in our conversation today, is you were really aware of the fighters on the card, and I was kind of like, oh man, I need a few more names that I'm familiar with to really care about the events, and I think ONE FC is doing a great thing, and they've got a great product. But Joe, we were saying, would it kill them to have more than just perhaps Ben Askren on there to just, if they did have 2 or 3 other names, I think it could draw in so many more Westerners that are interested in big names fighting in other promotions that are well made, that are really taking care of the fighters and that have good production values. You, on the other hand, you seem you really knew the card. You knew a lot of people on that. Now, you seem to have really immersed yourself into the Southeast Asian MMA scene.
Yeah, definitely.
How long have you been here for?
2 years now.
Okay, 2 years. Okay.
Yeah, so 2 years. So I learned there's kind of 2 parts of I noticed in Asian MMA, and there's a Thailand scene and there's an actual Southeast Asian MMA scene.
Yeah.
You know? So in Thailand, you notice you got a lot of the foreigner guys here training, trying to get fights or whatnot, and then you have a lot of the local based fighters in other countries that are really starting to pick up. If you look at Malaysia, they're really starting to make a lot of moves with amateur.
Cambodia,
Philippines, China is huge right now in MMA. Yep. Everybody's loving it. So I think just from being in the scene here, training with a lot of these guys in Singapore and Malaysia, traveling around and coaching friends, I've met a lot of different fighters and training at gyms. So it's kind of cool that I've been able to meet a lot of the ONE fighters right now, and the guys that are signed. But then I realized that they actually have a big base that a lot of us foreigners might not know about. But a lot of these guys on those ONE cards, I'm sure are selling big tickets in their hometown. Maybe the Philippines.
That's what it comes down to. That's what
So I think that's what their goal is right now, as far as building Southeast Asian MMA right now.
So for you guys, I mean, you both come out here and you take a bunch of fights out here. How do you feel that works for fighters? What would your message be to fighters in Canada, United States, Europe, etc.? Do you think it's a good place to come develop yourself and get some fights and get those numbers on your record?
I mean,
how do you feel about having fought in both places, Joe?
Depending on the local scene that you're in and the camp that you're at, I guess, it depends. If you have a promoter back home that's willing to push you and, kind of build you up. But that's kind of, it's few and far in between these days, it seems like, because there's so much going on and there's so many fighters and just so many spots, so it's kind of tough to get people are scratching, chomping at the bit just to get a fight. And people are fighting for less and less now, because it's this guy's desperate, I'm desperate, I gotta pay my bills, you're gonna fight if you're looking to pay $800. Well, at $800, that's too much. All right, go to this guy, he'll pay $800. Oh, okay, I'll do it. I'll do it for half that.
Here's a question for you then. Based on if you're a fighter that's coming up and you haven't had a fight in a major promotion, I mean, you were, I'd say, somewhat lucky. You started in Strikeforce, which is awesome.
I was very fortunate.
But for somebody who's coming up in these regional promotions, do you think that there's a difference in quality on his record of saying, hey, I've had a fight in Malaysia, or I've had a fight in Singapore, or I've had a fight in Miami?
Well, yeah, it just depends. I mean, definitely there's a disparity in skill level, as far as...
So how far,
as a whole,
what's that disparity level in your opinion right now?
I think that the guys back in the States, they're more so a wrestling base and maybe more so well-rounded, better taught, whereas it's kind of new out here.
The sport's been implemented for so much longer there.
So it's kind of new here. So they're kind of just kind of finding themselves, and maybe they're a little bit more one-dimensional. And
it's the feedback I've got from a lot of people that there's exponential progress occurring here, but that the level in general is still behind North America. Simply because it hasn't been implemented as long. Emilio, you're shaking your head. What are your thoughts?
I don't know, man. I don't think so, dude. I think people have been saying that for a long time. But
as a whole, though, I think.
As a whole, overall, for sure. California, there's some meccas in America where there's
some studs over here.
California, I'll tell you what, man. I got a fellow friend of mine that I coach with in Singapore. He's from California, and it's a rough scene over there, man. There's definitely a higher level in the States, but there's some high level out here, man. You know, and
who are some of the guys that you think that are sort of bred here in Southeast Asia that are gonna help put?
Are you talking about like? Well, there's a few, there's a couple of foreign fighters, that have really made a name for themselves in Southeast Asia, and there's also like a lot of local guys that I feel like now are starting to make a name or push their backgrounds.
Yeah.
So it depends, really. I know there's some big Japanese names right now. China's starting to make like a big run. But I guess overall,
Japan has always been a mecca. Japan's always had its big names, but they struggled tremendously in the UFC.
Striking, I like the striking in Asia though, man. Like the Filipinos can strike, man. Like a lot of these, the Koreans, tough, man. Like Road FC, Top FC. So it's overall, I think it's pretty evenly spread. But like I said, I guess I have to agree overall.
As a whole. As a whole, for sure. There's exceptions, but
I wouldn't say it's like a disparity. Like I think people think they can just come over here and they're just gonna run through people like with just some average wrestling. And I think if you think that, you're gonna get soccer kicked in the face.
Depends on the promotion
too. The rule set's different. So it's nice. One of the things I do love about Asian and fighting in Asian is the Asian MMA culture. It's definitely different.
Yeah,
it's definitely better. The fans definitely appreciate you more. I'll tell you what, man. Recently, I was in Miami. And I went to one local show, and I wasn't too impressed at all. I wasn't impressed with the fighters. I wasn't impressed with the atmosphere, and I wasn't impressed with the show.
And that show was kind of...
that might have been the show, though.
Yeah,
so I
think that show was just...
But I'm telling you,
more like a social outing.
There's some nice shows out here right now, and there's a lot of people making big moves. So
it's an
exciting
now,
place
it's coming
to be.
on.
It's an exciting place to be.
So let's flip the conversation back to American Top Team, Joe. You obviously represent them. You've trained there. You fought with these guys. Right now, there's they're on the Ultimate Fighter, fighting the Black Zillions. It's a totally new format, team versus team. I actually watched the first episode. The fight wasn't the all-out barn burner that they're going to make it out to be. It was still decent, but it seems like it's an interesting new angle for the show. And interestingly, it's your weight class, welterweight. Were you ever up for consideration to be part of that show?
Yeah, it was. I was originally, they approached me and they were like, the coach is like, do you want to? I walked in the gym like, do you want to be part of the, Ultimate Fighter or whatever? They're doing like a new kind of concept, this and this. I was like, yeah, for sure, definitely. They're like, all right, make yourself available. We're not making any promises, but you could be part of, you can be part of it. Just make yourself available. We're gonna do like a little training camp with the guys, so just to get everybody ready and stuff like that. So long story short, it came time, they picked the guys, and I guess they didn't feel that I was good enough to be on the team, so because they left me out, they put me as a first alternate.
Okay.
And then it came time again to I don't know that I can't really say about it because the show hasn't come out yet.
Yeah.
But I kind of got I don't know. I kind of felt like I got. It wasn't a good situation. We'll just keep it at that. Yeah. We'll just keep it at that.
Is that an opportunity you would have absolutely really like to jump on if you could?
Yeah, I would have loved to, but I just look at the silver lining. Like I don't know how I would have been in that house, because it's like however much amount of time you have to spend in the house with no outside stimulation. Like no internet, no phone, no you can't even really bring a book in there from what I understand, unless it's like something religious. So I don't know.
It's pretty stringent, isn't it? I wonder why. I understand the concept of immersing yourself into the training, but I mean, you're already part of ATT at that point. You're part of the Black Zillions. You're immersed in training like a mofo at that point. I was actually almost quite surprised that the show asked them to be in a house. It's almost like, hey, you've got your camps. What's pretty crazy is how they fight in the gyms, though.
Yeah, it was cool. It was awesome.
I think that's actually a pretty gritty detail of it.
It was a really cool vibe. Yeah, it was you go in there and you feel that tension in there.
Well, like Dana White flipped a coin at the start. Was it an ATT coin on one side, or one side's ATT, one side's Black Zillion? Whatever it landed on, the first fight took place in the Black Zillions gym.
They put a UFC cage in there?
Yeah, there was a gym.
Yeah.
Same size and everything, huh?
Yeah.
I think it might have been a little smaller. It may have been a little smaller, than the actual but it was like their official cage.
Wow.
They brought it in. They cleared out the whole space.
They won the fight too, so they get to keep that home advantage. So the next fight, again, and it's an interesting format of how they're choosing the fighters. It's like basically nobody knows the matchup until the day of the weigh-ins. So technically they have 8 guys on their team. They could make the same guy fight over and over and over and over. They never know who they're going to fight against until the day of the weigh-ins, and then they really only have one day to strategize against the guy. So I'm glad to see that they're flipping
cool
around
concept,
the show.
man.
It's a cool concept.
Cool. I was there for the whole time, like the filming and all that. I just wasn't in the house, but so I got to see all like the behind the scenes stuff. It was a really interesting look on how they kind of put the show together and all the stuff that goes behind it, and just like it was a good group of guys that were there. Like friends with a lot of them that were on the team. So
how many potential fighters at ATT did they have for this? I mean, how many sort of big promotion welterweight fighters do they have on the squad?
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, I don't know. I mean, at 170, the 8 obviously that are on the show, and then I guess like a few other guys, and there's like some up and comers and stuff like that. But I mean, I don't know. I felt like I would have been good enough with my track record to be part of that team, but
especially being on TV, because you're a pretty presentable dude and you talk well, and you've got a highlight reel, and you've got a lot behind you. That I was shocked. I was just shocked to see that you went on it.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy with all the finishes,
Yeah, just my experience level too, which is like there's a lot to be said about that.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like that would have been a really nice fit for you to get that additional exposure to push you over into that next phase of your career, right?
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, it wouldn't have hurt with the money that the Ultimate Fighter was throwing around either. That would have helped my bottom line out too. You know what I mean?
Right. So let's also talk about that, because both of you, you're both professional fighters. You both get paid to do that. But what I really like about both of you is that you've already started. I mean, you're relatively young. You're 30, Joe.
Yeah.
And 27.
27. Okay, and you guys already have some alternative revenue streams coming in. So let's talk a bit about that. Emilio, you're a coach. You're a BJJ coach at Juggernaut.
Yeah, I'm teaching in a Juggernaut Fight Club. I wouldn't know about. I mean, it's a great job, and I love it there, man.
He's an awesome coach. Don't let this guy sell you short.
That's really been like one of my blessings in disguise here. That's been one of my keys to staying in Asia, actually, like that. And my boss over there, Arvin, like the head coach over there, Arvin Lawani, he's a great dude. And, he just loves fighters and loves the fight game and just will do anything for his fighters, So it's really...
Yeah, he's a good dude, Arvin.
It's a real honor and pleasure to be a part of the Juggernaut family over there in Singapore when I'm away from here.
When did you start training there?
I went over there in 2013, so I came here for 4 weeks, and then in my last week, I was like, damn, I don't want to leave Thailand. I guess like everybody else thinks,
Yeah, so I need
and then a buddy of mine was like, hey, dude, you wanna teach in Singapore? And I was like, bro, I don't even speak Chinese, I had no I didn't even know where Singapore was. I had to Google it and do like the YouTube documentary channel type thing on it and research.
Good thing you're not going to China.
Damn, I'm gonna go here, And then when I got there, it was just unbelievable, man. That's when honestly, man, being in Singapore is where I really got to see the other side of the Asian MMA that you were talking about, how I knew about it.
Yeah.
I think that's what opened my eyes to like the local scene in MMA and martial arts in Southeast Asia. I kind of see what they're doing.
And you were saying similarly to here, where there's kind of gyms, we're all kind of close together. Tiger, BK Thailand, Phuket Top Team. I mean, you say in Singapore the gyms laid out similarly, where they're pretty close. I think you were saying Evolve's close to Juggernaut.
I would say.
What's the Fight G? There's a bunch of camps, right?
Yeah, actually, Fight G, Juggernaut, and Evolve are pretty close to each other.
It's funny how that works, right?
But the thing is, Singapore is a really small place. Yeah. But what I noticed about Singapore, it's becoming really big. Like it's seeming like the BJJ in Singapore is super high level already. With Evolve, with all the black belt coaches they have at their disposal, at Fight G and all the random gyms now all through around. They got a new gym called Equilibrium too. Like the BJJ scene is really growing over there. They're having tournaments now every few months, and every tournament stacked. Especially like in the blue belt divisions now, the purple belt division's starting to get a little better. So. It's really impressive, man. And then I notice now with the MMA gyms are blowing up also. But over there, I would say it's more of a local crowd. Like Evolve might have every gym will cater to the locals there instead of expats like they do in Thailand.
Yeah.
I would say it's easier to make a name actually outside of Thailand if you can be somewhere and base yourself out of a country that there isn't maybe like how many foreigners you think are trying to get fights right now on this road alone.
A whackload.
And how do you make a name? It's going to be tough.
So do you train BJJ for MMA? Do you do gi, no gi? What's your style? What's your
I'm definitely a no gi wrestling base for sure. Yeah, that's my.
Okay.
That's
this guy
my
does
base.
it all.
Yeah.
Do you do seminars as well?
Not so much, man. I consider myself even at Juggernaut. I consider myself like more of an assistant instructor level type. I'm teaching with some great guys over there. So
okay.
I'm kind of I just try to stay low key, man. Honestly, I just try to use it. I'm just trying to make enough to. I don't really need much right now. So, like I said, it's kind of stupid, but I'm really only got one thing on my mind. So.
And was that?
I'm kind of like one of those guys you were talking about earlier, because I'm, in Juggernaut, I'm kind of bouncing around between countries, in the gym, I live in the gym over there, so it's.
So what's your number one priority?
It's a great opportunity, is to train and fight and to be in the best place to train for my career and for my skill set, That's
okay. Where do you feel that is then right now?
Definitely in Tiger, in Thailand. It's where I get like I get to maximize my potential 100%.
Yep.
Cheap food, cheap training.
Yeah, it's the same message I get from every one of you guys, that it's great because you have these stable training partners that are there year round, and then you have this coming and going of kick-ass all-stars and up-and-coming guys, mid-level guys, UFC guys, 1FC guys. It's a never-ending stream of fantastic training partners. That seems to be like categorically what people admire and appreciate the most by training at Tiger Muay Thai, right?
Yeah, definitely. You might fight a lot of the guys you train with, especially in Asian MMA. It seems small, so like a couple times, thinking when I fought for Kunlun, I know a couple times I was going to get matched up with a couple guys who came to Tiger and trained. So that match maybe didn't want to make happen or something like that, But other than that, you get the experience level. You never know who you're going to spar with, man. You could be in the room, you're in a regular jiu-jitsu class. If you're back home, you might roll with the same 5 guys every day.
And even
they know you.
Look at like this past week, they had Roberto Flamingo in there. The guys trained a who's who of some of the best kickboxers, Muay Thai fighters, and MMA fighters in the world. A few days before, you had Alan Belcher in there.
Could have taken a seminar from
those seminars were dope, both of them. Yeah.
Now, Joe, you also give seminars, right?
Yeah, I do. That's not really. I've given a couple, but not.
Okay. And then, what about your training gig as a Muay Thai instructor?
I teach at one of the American Top Team affiliates back home, American Top Team Miramar. I do striking there and some MMA.
When do you do that? What type of bandwidth does that take up from you? Like, how much time of the year do you spend there?
It just depends. It's like it's hit or miss. Like I could be there for 2 months out of the year, or I could be there for 8 months out of the year, 6 months out of the year. It just depends.
Okay.
Like every year is different. I was there for like.
But there's not like a sort of like a baseline that you have to.
No, not really. It's just like if I feel like picking up and moving, because I don't really have any obligations. Like I don't own any property. I don't have a motorcycle back home, which is paid off. So I don't pay any rent. I don't. I have a few bills that I pay, but I can pay that.
How's Gouveia doing? I'm a big fan of Gouveia as well.
He's awesome.
Is he done fighting?
Yeah, he's done fighting. Yeah,
he's
actually a cop now.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's funny, man. He's a good dude, man. He's a funny guy.
Well, hopefully he's not shooting anybody and he's just beating them up. Jesus, I would not want to get stopped by Gouveia. Yeah, I really liked his style. What was that? And he had that fight.
Yeah, he's a stud, man.
That's a guy.
He fought Belcher, actually. Belcher, but it was that fight against Nate Marquardt.
He's talented as shit. Yeah.
But man, I thought he was taking. That guy is so talented, man. It's crazy. I heard
he was vicious. He came out to just.
You remember that Marquardt fight? I remember in the first minute or two, he tried to take it.
They both teed off on each other, and then Marquardt pulled something out of a video game, like some crazy Street Fighter 2 combo, spinning kicks and back fists and blah 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 up against the cage and just crumpled him. But it was awesome. I always look forward to Gouveia fights.
Yeah,
good dude.
So he's obviously a full-time trainer and owner of ATT Miramar.
Yeah, he does the BJJ classes and like the gi classes, and like he said, he's got a family and he's got his cop gig now. So he teaches there. He's the main instructor there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Crazy, man. And then I guess tonight there's the beat down at Tiger.
Oh yeah,
that's gonna be a good one.
Let's eat.
Did you guys ever fight in the beatdowns at all? Or no?
Never did.
For people that don't know, the beatdowns are the beatdowns are the monthly barbecue that Tiger Muay Thai does, and they let people that are training there. Anybody wants to actually take basically a smoker fight, an amateur fight.
Yeah.
So just to stuff the face with
food
and
everybody gets together.
I want to bring out my students from Singapore out here.
Yeah.
I want to start bringing them out here. For these beatdowns, it's a good amateur experience. They can fight once a month at the end of the month, and they can fight a guy from Tiger, man. So I'm gonna get into that. Actually, I totally forgot. Went home for a bit, but
very cool. Now, one last thing I want to talk about you were these battleground tournaments that you did.
Oh yeah.
Because a lot of people don't think that there's because you had what 2 fights in the same night?
Yeah. Well, I was hoping for 3, but it didn't work out.
Yeah. So because I think there's a misconception that these multi-fight in one night tournaments don't really exist anymore. But
I didn't think they did either.
Where does that take place?
In the States. That was in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Man, what a spot! Man. That place was bizarre, bro. Yeah,
because there was a lot of names on that card.
Yeah.
There was Juan Carnot. There was Brock Larson.
He just tapped out Mark Munoz in the first round. Did you see that? The winner.
Yeah.
Not me.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So what?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. They got that.
Well, I mean, they're saying that Mark Munoz has his last fight, win or lose, is coming up in the Philippines. I think it's time for him to. It just didn't work out for him, then. You know.
Or did, you know.
I mean, he had some good fights, but I feel that Munoz was just thrown to the Sharks perhaps a bit too quick. You know, he fought nothing but high-level dudes, and I think once you establish your reputation as doing that you can't really back down from it. And then, you know... I
didn't really follow him too much, but he's...
great dude, and I mean, you know, he's got a lot of qualities. I think people say he's an incredible coach, an incredible wrestler, but it's just funny how, I guess, you got some people in the gym and you got some people in the cage, and it doesn't just... Unfortunately, doesn't always translate to both for everybody that gets involved in the sport.
Yeah, definitely.
Crazy. Well, listen, guys, that was awesome talking with you. Do you guys want any shout-outs, any sponsors?
No, I'm not really rocking any sponsors right now. So
you just got an M on your hat.
Yeah, Miami. It was on sale. What can I say?
Sponsored by the city of Miami.
I got a shout out for the 305, Miami-Dade County. Everybody back home, I miss and love you all, and that's why I'm fighting over here and trying to make everybody and my family proud. My team banter teammates in Thailand, Tiger Muay Thai, and of course, you know, my family, my second family, Juggernaut Fight Club in Asia. You know, I love you guys, and I'll see you soon.
Yeah, awesome.
May 9th. Don't forget the Honey Badger 305 kid.
Exactly. So yeah, guys, tune in. Joe Ray's fighting Paulo Thiago at what's the promotion?
Rebel
FC in China,
June 27th.
Emilio's fighting. You don't know your opponent yet. Some Malaysian cat,
a Korean guy.
Somebody who's got a loss on their record.
A dead man. That's who it is.
He's fighting a dead man on May 9th. Fighting a dead man on May 9th alongside your teammate Kai Kara France.
I'm training with Kai Kara. We're going to bring Joe out there. We're going to get some new stamps on our passport.
You're going to be out there as well, Joe?
Yeah.
Check out a new country.
That's
what we do, man. Just invade countries and
eat some good food.
Very
Great
cool.
shop.
Cash checks.
Run up the room service bill and dip out.
Yeah. Cash checks and snap necks.
Or at least choke them.
There you go.
Excellent, guys. This was the Trash Talk MMA podcast. I'm your host, Antoine Pelletier, with my guests fighting out of Tiger Muay Thai, Joe Ray and Emalo Urrutia. We're out of here, guys. Peace.
Peace.
Thanks for listening to the Trash Talk MMA podcast. Be sure to visit trashtalkmma.com.
Smile on my face, behind my back, and talk trash.
And don't forget to follow Antoine on Twitter at Trash Talk MMA. Let us know you're listening. Use hashtag Trash Talk MMA.